Hi, everyone. So good to see you. Oh my gosh, how's everyone doing? I am so excited. I think this is our second live ever. The first live was it in Nairobi? Yeah, but I think I haven't done any more lives since. But here we are. Welcome. Um, I'm so excited. I was looking forward to this live because it's been again this year has been amazing for me. It's just been one of those years. I'm like, oh my gosh, how could everything be so aligned, right? Um, yeah. So I just want to say thank you, guys. I started this YouTube last year. I just felt that I had gone through, a phase in my life where I really had felt like something was wrong with me. Why was I not, making it in life? What was going on? Why was I, emotionally going through so many things? I think I was asking myself so many questions. Who am I? What is my purpose? What are my values? What kind of a person do I show up in the world? Yeah. And so that triggered definitely this healing journey, and it's been interesting to say the least. But I have learned so much about myself, and I just was like, I need to share this information because I think we sometimes don't realize that we are all like, we're all connected in one way or another. We're all connected, right? And sometimes we feel like, oh, I'm the only one going through this. But when I started talking to some of my friends and family members, they were just like, I think everybody goes through a time in their life where they finally connect with their inner self. So things like inner child to me was strange before my awakening. Things like shadow work, I was like, what is shadow work and what is chakras? And so this was when I started doing my journey, my healing. Oh my gosh, I think I was like, I need to share this with whoever is going to connect with it. Thank you. Please connect and learn from me, right? You don't have to go through the hell I went through. You could just take some of the lessons here, and if you've had any of these experiences, just use them to better yourself. Okay. So I promised you I will do a personal introduction of myself for those who don't know me. So my name is Stella. I am Kenyan American. I was um, I was born and raised in here Nakuru, Kenya. Yeah, and I had a normal upbringing. My mom, my dad, and my siblings. I went to the schools, the local schools here. Actually, I went to what is it called? St. Joseph's Primary School, and then I went to Mount Kenya Academy, which is a private school in Nyeri. And then from there, I went to a high school in Nakuru. It's called Bahati Girls. It's a very nice, I think it is a national school. And then from there, a couple years down the line, I did some courses here and there with internet typing, some accreditation, what is it called? Certifications. And then I went to the States. So I joined my sister in the States. She was already living there. And so I had a soft landing per se. I didn't really struggle as much as I've had some horror stories. I didn't have that struggle. But I went to school there, I went to college there, did my nursing, and I became a nurse, and I've practiced nursing for several years now. And then, like I said, we had the lockdown, and or before the lockdown, I had my two little girls. I have a 9-year-old and a 8-year-old, and they are the love of my life. They just everything. And then, when the lockdown happened, we were in Kenya, and so that's how we are still here. But that's another story for another day, and I'll get into it. Okay. Um, and then during that time is when I had my spiritual, journey, awakening, if you could say, and then led to this video. Here we are. So, um, I think the best way to get to know me better is I'm going to ask a few questions that I got from some of you earlier. Um, so it Stella, how was your upbringing? Okay, that's a good one. So like I said, I grew up a pretty normal life. My mom, my dad, they both worked, and we lived in a pretty decent neighborhood. We went to good schools, like I mentioned. We had vacations during the Christmas holidays. We traveled quite a bit. I mean, I think the standards of the time were probably a middle class family, so I can't complain. We never like felt like we were any different from our neighbors and my classmates. I felt like we all kind of had the same upbringing. Yeah, and it was good. I don't remember anything traumatic per se, but again, this was my vision of it, my version of how I grew up. Um, the next question was, what triggered your spiritual journey? Okay. Yeah, so like I mentioned, I believe that every single person, and for those who are willing to admit, I think we all go through a phase in our lives where we start asking ourselves questions like, what is my purpose? Who am I? Why am I on this journey? Like, what am I supposed to do with this? What are my values? What do I want to accomplish in life? I think everybody goes through that time, and I think mostly what happens when we go through that, because it's not something, especially now that with the internet, you can easily Google something up and find us, maybe someone who's talking about their lives and whatever, and somehow, you quiet that voice and like, yeah, everybody else is struggling like me. The economy is bad, whatever. Like you find someone that maybe is in the same path as you are. For me, I went a little bit deeper because for years, I remember even in the States in my 20s, I read a book by Napoleon Hill, and it talked about how, if you went to an interview, how you could actually um, not manipulate, but somewhat control your energy to be able to get that job. I thought that was so strange. And I remember going to an interview, and when I was in that interview, I did what he had said, like imagine yourself getting the job, imagine yourself, starting to work there, like start feeling like you have that job. And at the time, I didn't even know that you could, I didn't know, maybe this was some common knowledge to everybody. But when I did that, and then I remember even before the interview, I think Napoleon said something like, write down everything that you want from that job, flexibility, the amount of money you want to get paid. Just be really detailed and really specific. So I thought, why not? So in my resume, I remember after the interview, the person that was interviewing me said, okay, so when do you want to start? How much money do you want to get paid? Do you have any questions for me? How can we accommodate you? And I thought, what? Accommodate me? I thought I was just coming to work and whatever was offered, I would take it. And that was the first time that I kind of felt there is more to this. There's more to what I know. There's more to going to college, getting a job, getting married, retiring, and ultimately transitioning. I, for the first time, I thought, wow, if I could actually feel something, claim it, and then I'm able to like get it. But then, just like everyone else, we're in this rat race, busy, busy, busy. I kind of put it in the back burner. I had the job, whatever. Second time I felt this was in 2012. I remember, again, this was related to a job and actually I think my first home. It was an upscale neighborhood. This is in the States, upscale neighborhood. And I remember even when I was scrolling through the realtors' websites, and they were sending me all this. So, if I can explain a little bit, in the States, you get, and I don't know about Kenya because I haven't bought a house in Kenya, but in the States, You first go to the bank, they tell you how much you've been pre-approved, and then you look for a house within that range, right? So I did that, and I got approved for a certain amount of money. And so I thought, okay, I'll just look within that range, right? But something in me said, why not? Like, look above, like even $10,000 more. And I thought, well, okay, sure, I'll do it. So I did it, and I started looking at these homes, and the same thing. I applied the same concept of feeling that I own that home. That is my home. I could imagine myself sitting in the living room. It had a beautiful fireplace. I could see myself having coffee there, sitting in the sunroom. I could just see myself in that home, this specific home. And mind you, it was $10,000 more than what I could be approved by the bank, right? And I thought, well, it's happened before. I could do it again, right? So I I did that, and that how home it was this again the strangest thing. My second encounter, I got the job, I got the house. In fact, they took my offer. They didn't even counter it. I didn't go above what had been approved by the bank, right? And yeah, so I've had times in my life where I felt like I was being guided and I didn't again understand what was guiding me, and I didn't understand what was behind the scenes, I guess. I'd been so focused on mental, this is the systems, this is how things work, and you stick to the script, right? And so I did that for a long time. And until now, from 2012, and many other things happen in between that also would trigger like, this doesn't seem normal. It feels like a miracle. It feels like someone had a bigger hand. And of course I believed in God. Of course I believe in God and all that. But it was very personalized. It was very, everything that I wanted was coming to fruition, right? So then the biggest trigger was during the lockdown, that I started asking myself these questions. What is my purpose? Who am I? What are my values? You know? And I started doing more and more research. And within this research is when so many things opened up. A whole new version of me opened up that I had no idea was in me, right? Things like your higher inner self. Those are very difficult, I guess, hard words for me to explain. When someone would say they're connected to the higher self, like, okay, what does that mean, right? But to not to make this any more challenging, what I'm trying to say is, once you start your spiritual journey, and for me, what has helped me is, first of all, being aware. I think having awareness and creating awareness is the first thing, because once you're aware of your limitations and your self-limiting beliefs, because we all have self-limiting beliefs, you can start from that point. That is how I started my journey. I started by looking at, what are my limits? What have I limited myself, consciously or subconsciously? And most of the times it is subconscious, right? um, Most of what we do is subconscious. We're not thinking, oh, I need to breathe or whatever. I guess that's just part of the body. But we are so programmed. You wake up in the morning, you pick up your phone, look at your phone, you check your text messages, you go on the news. You wake up, you get up from bed, you have your cup of coffee, toast, whatever, you drive off to work. That whole maybe 2 hours, there's no point where you've stopped to ask yourself, what am I feeling today? Right? You haven't asked yourself, what is my intention today? Yeah. And if you're feeling something, is this a feeling of, is it an empowering feeling, or is it a feeling that, I hate my job, but I'm still going to go to that job because there's no other option, right? And when you say that to yourself, you're limiting yourself, because you're believing that this is the best you could do, right? If you're in a relationship and you are in a point where you're just like, is this the best I can do? Even for married people, even for singles, and for people who are engaged, it might get to a point where you start questioning yourself, what else is out there, right? And not because you want to be promiscuous or anything, but because maybe your values and that person's value no longer align. And I think it's okay to ask yourself these questions. It's okay to listen to your inner higher self, because your inner higher self has all the answers. It's easy for me to say that, but I'm telling you, once you start tapping into your higher self, you end up discovering so many things about yourself, and discovering like things and traumas and some wounds that need to be healed. And so, back to the question, what really triggered was several things, right? I started reading and asking myself these questions, and I came to a point where I realized that my core wounds, and core wounds are wounds we inflict in our subconscious, in ourselves, especially as a child, where you're not able to process that experience. Let's say, for me, I could say my core wound was abandonment. And what that meant is when I left my primary school to go to boarding school at a very young age, I did not understand. And this, again, it's not anything against my parents or anybody that has their kids in boarding school. It's not that. What I'm trying to say is, for me, the abandonment issue came when I had to, take care of myself at a very young age, right? And I'm just going to read to you what are some of the symptoms for abandonment. Okay, so a core wound is based on experiences we couldn't process, and we store them in our subconscious mind in our childhood. Just like I said, for me, it could be something traumatic. There was nothing wrong with that boarding school, but when I was there, I didn't have a parent to go to if I was hungry, or someone stole my clothes, or someone broke into my suitcase and took something from me. I had to process that myself. Even if I went to the teachers, they're like, "Oh, you should have locked it. You should have done this, you should have done that." They put it back on me as a 9 year old. And I truly believe, as a 9 year old, you don't really have the skills and the capability to, to be able to take care of yourself, right? So what I felt is, whenever I was touching on that wound, I would feel I will be abandoned, I would feel unsafe, and I would feel the inconsistency, and especially emotionally, I'd have like repetitions of the same thing happening. I'd feel panic, I'd feel distress, numbness, sadness, needy, desperation, right? And I did not know that I was responding from, now as an adult, I didn't know that I was responding from a trauma response space, right? I did not realize that I had trauma that was in me subconsciously, that I had carried on for years, right? And this is what healing does. Healing helps you to uncover and bring up what is in your subconscious mind, so that whatever is there, most likely there is trauma. If you're on earth, you definitely have some trauma there. But if you are able to bring that up to your awareness, which is the first thing when you start going through your spiritual journey, is to bring awareness to your subconscious. And once you do that, you are able to figure out which areas you need to work on, which areas you need to put your energy. And as we'll see in the videos, in my upcoming videos, there's a process. So far, I've done a couple videos, and every single video talks about a specific or a continuation of the trauma. We talked about your healing your inner child. We talked about doing shadow work. We've been doing the chakras. And so, if you watch those videos, you'll be able to understand what is your trigger, what is your wound. Okay. And then, based on that, after watching the videos, like I said, we do have um, some courses online if you're interested in diving deeper into healing, into finding your higher inner self. We definitely can help you with that. All right. um yeah, so I think that's it. I mean, I don't have, I think, one other question. Do you use affirmations daily? So I do use affirmations on a daily basis, and most of my affirmations are pretty much based on, I guess, my need at that time. I think I have said severally that this this year, for me, it's about self love, balance, and harmony. So all my affirmations are geared towards that, because what an affirmation does, it just counteracts what your limitation is, right? So if you feel you don't have love, then you affirm yourself that you are loved, right? You affirm yourself you're good enough. You affirm yourself that you're healing, and it's best to start. So the best thing with writing affirmations, I'm going to jump here a little bit. The best thing with writing affirmations, you should do it in a way that connects with you emotionally. Personalize it, right? You must personalize it, make it present tense, and say, in the next 2 years, I will own a home. No, do it present now. I am love. I am peace. I am abundant. I am healing. I am willing to uncover what is hidden in my subconscious mind. So if you do it in a way that it's soothing, in a way that it's connecting, in a way that is not so out there, then you are able to connect with it, and you're able to now process it. And all everything about affirmations is really reprogramming your subconscious mind. That's all it is. Because again, we talked about the subconscious mind. It holds a lot of information, and most of the times it's negative information. It's programming that does not empower you. So affirmations really do empower you, so that you see that, okay, I was not able to do this, but that's not true. That's a limiting belief. And now I can actually focus on healing myself. I can focus on loving myself. I can focus on balancing myself. I can focus on, everything having, in order, and in peaceful and love and joy. So affirmations are good to use on a daily basis, but you have to personalize them, and you have to make them in the present tense. Okay? Yeah. Any other questions? Nope, I don't see anything else. But anyway, guys, I'm so excited. This is our first live in 2024. We'll be doing more. Um, just like the questions I got them from my email in from my YouTube channel. So if you have any questions for maybe the next live, please send them to my email, or you can come on live and ask them as we chat, and we'll be able to go through them together. Okay. So thank you so much for your time. It was good spending time with you. It's a beautiful day here in Nakuru. We're out in the sun. The kids are out swimming, and I'm just enjoying my day. And I just want to say thank you, everyone, for the new subscribers, for the people that keep returning to watch my videos. I really, really appreciate it. And actually, my whole purpose is to help you connect with your higher self, connect with um, your subconscious mind, and journey with you in your unique way of discovering yourself. Everybody is different. We all don't have to go through the same experiences, but I can guide you, I can help you, I can be here for you, so that you're not going through this alone. Because I tell you, it can be a very lonely journey. For me, it was. I didn't have a community around me, but I'm trying to create a community where you feel safe, you feel heard, you feel seen, and you can ask me any questions. I'm here to help you. I'm here to guide you. Yeah. So email, text, send messages on YouTube, and I'll be glad to work with you. For that, just say thank you. I love you guys. Until next time, namaste.